So imagine this. A private wedding meant to be all roses, champagne, and Beyoncé playlists turns into an all-out battlefield. Tiny Harris thought she was walking into her fairy tale happily ever after. Instead, she got a live episode of Love and Hip Hop, Atlanta Meltdown Edition. We're talking designer gowns flying, champagne spilling, and T.I.'s son King Harris snapping like he just found out the Wi-Fi password was not your daddy. According to witnesses, the groom barely said "I do" before King charged in yelling, "You're not my mom's man?" Bruh. The audacity, the chaos, the TMZ cameras shaking in excitement. This wasn't just a family argument. This was a generational earthquake. Guests froze, phones whipped out, and you could practically hear T.I.'s blood pressure spiking from across Atlanta. And here's where it gets insane. Insiders claim this wasn't random. Nope. This explosion was months in the making. Secrets, jealousy, and loyalty lines crossed like a reality show finale on steroids. Forget Keeping Up with the Kardashians. This made Love and Hip Hop look like Sesame Street, because when King Harris loses his cool, no wedding vow, no groom, and definitely no NDA can stop him. And trust me, this night, it changed the entire Harris family forever. Let's paint the scene. A lush Atlanta estate wrapped in white roses, champagne flutes glistening, and R&B royalty whispering about how Tiny finally got her fairy tale back. Everything looked like a Pinterest dream dipped in Versace gold. No press, no chaos, just close friends and family only. But baby, that close family included King Harris, and if there's one thing we've learned by now, it's that when King shows up, peace packs its bags and leaves. Guests were mid-toast when the calm shattered like glass under stiletto heels. King Harris, dressed sharp but storming in with a face that screamed, "Don't test me," interrupted the vows. Tiny was barely halfway through her "I do" when King cut through the music and shouted, "You're not my mom's man, you don't belong here." Gasps, dead silence. Then chaos. People froze. Cell phones whipped out faster than wedding confetti. You could feel the tension. T.I. stiff in his seat, Tiny's eyes wide. Bridesmaids whispering, "Oh no, he didn't." The groom, poor man, looked like he'd walked straight into a Zeus Network reunion episode. He tried to calm King down, but King was already pacing, voice rising, saying things nobody expected to hear at a wedding. "You replaced my dad. You think this family's a prop for your clout." And just like that, the wedding that was supposed to heal the Harris family turned into an emotional demolition derby. Now let's rewind, because this wasn't just a random tantrum. This was a ticking time bomb months in the making. Rumor has it, Tiny's relationship with her new man, a quiet Atlanta businessman who's been in her circle for a while, never sat right with King. The whispers started back when Tiny was seen at events without T.I., but with her business partner. You know how Atlanta gossip runs. It moves faster than 5G. Every club promoter, every stylist, every close friend of a friend had a version of the story. King, meanwhile, was on social media living his own unfiltered reality. Wild rants, live streams, and occasional comments hinting that family ain't family no more. At first, people thought he was just being dramatic, and because, let's be honest, King's been trending more for chaos than calm. But behind those posts was real tension. Sources close to the family say King felt betrayed. To him, this wedding wasn't love. It was rebellion. A final move in the silent Cold War between Tiny and T.I. that's been brewing ever since their marriage hit rocky roads. So when Tiny decided to make it official with her new man, she thought keeping it private would avoid headlines. Instead, it created the perfect storm. King wasn't invited. That's right, wasn't invited. But he found out anyway. Someone in the guest list apparently leaked the address, and the rest was reality TV history waiting to happen. The moment King pulled up, security hesitated. After all, it's family. But insiders say you could tell from the second he walked in that it wasn't going to end with hugs. His body language? All fury, no filter. Guests claim he went straight up to Tiny before the ceremony, whispering something heated before being escorted aside. But when the officiant started speaking, King lost it. And here's where it gets even wilder, and there's allegedly footage. Multiple guests caught pieces of the meltdown before security shut phones down. One clip made it to Twitter for less than 5 minutes before it vanished, but not before the internet screenshotted it. In the video, you can see King yelling while guests scramble. Tiny's trying to calm him, crying, the groom standing frozen. And in the background, T.I. looking like he's deciding whether to step in or teleport out. Twitter, of course, did what it does best, turn tragedy into trending. Within hours, King Harris was blowing up again. Comments like, "He really crashed the wedding like it's a mixtape release party," and King said, "Not on my watch, not my mama, not my groom," flooded timelines. But not everyone was laughing. Some fans said they could actually feel the pain behind the outburst. "This boy's not crazy," one fan tweeted. "He's hurting." And maybe that's the part people missed. Because behind all the viral clips, this was a son watching the image of his family crumble. Again. Remember, King's grown up under the public microscope his entire life. Every fight, every argument, every break between his parents was amplified online. To him, this wasn't a private betrayal. It was a public erasure. Insiders say he's been vocal about not wanting his mom to move on so publicly. He allegedly told friends, "Why we pretending like my dad don't exist?" For King, Tiny's new love wasn't a romantic fresh start. It was a rewrite of history. But Tiny's version? Completely different. People close to her say she's exhausted, tired of being defined by a marriage that's been off and on more times than a bad Wi-Fi connection. She wanted peace, stability, something that wasn't a headline. So when she planned this small, elegant ceremony, it was supposed to be her quiet victory lap, except peace and the Harris family mixed like oil and fire. Now, word is T.I. wasn't too thrilled about the wedding either, not because of jealousy, but because of the optics. The man's built a legacy on being the patriarch of his empire. Watching his ex remarry and their son publicly explode in front of that same circle, that's a blow to the brand, no matter how you spin it. As one source bluntly put it, T.I. cares about image. King cares about loyalty. Tiny just wanted love. That's why it all burned down. By midnight, clips, memes, and blurry screenshots were circulating like wildfire. Every blogger in Atlanta was typing faster than their manicure could handle. The Shade Room, Hollywood Unlocked, Gossip of the City, all running with variations of King Harris crashes mom's secret wedding. Even worse, fans started speculating that the meltdown might have been caught by hidden cameras. Because apparently, there was a small production crew at the event filming Tiny's New Beginnings project. So now people are asking, was this whole thing recorded? And will we ever see it? Tiny's reps went ghost. T.I. stayed silent. King doubled down. Hours later, he jumped on Instagram Live, pacing and fuming, saying, "Y'all can say what y'all want. I don't fake nothing for cameras. I said what I said. Some things you don't do to family. The live lasted only 5 minutes before disappearing. But it was enough." Fans clipped every second. His tone was raw, defensive, emotional. He wasn't laughing. He wasn't trolling. He sounded hurt, and just like that, the internet split in two. Our Team Tiny versus our Team King. Some called him immature, saying he ruined his mom's happiness. Others defended him fiercely. He's the only one brave enough to speak truth in that family. Either way, one thing became clear. This wasn't just a meltdown. It was the Harris family's biggest public fracture yet, and if you think that was dramatic, just wait, because once other celebrities started reacting, this private wedding turned into Atlanta's biggest PR disaster of the year. If the wedding meltdown was the explosion, the aftermath was the shockwave, and Atlanta hasn't stopped shaking since. Within hours, the footage, screenshots, and blurry clips spread across the internet like wildfire. TikTok detectives had already posted 10-part breakdowns before sunrise. One caption read, "King Harris just pulled a Kanye at his mama's wedding," while another simply said, "This ain't a wedding, this a war zone." By the next morning, celebrity blogs were feasting. The Shade Room dropped 3 posts before breakfast. Hollywood Unlocked claimed they'd spoken to an anonymous guest who described King as a ticking bomb with a microphone. Then Baller Alert went further, releasing a voice note allegedly recorded during the chaos. You can hear shouting, glass clinking, and someone sounding suspiciously like Tiny, crying, "King, stop!" And as usual, the internet turned it into entertainment. Memes flew faster than T.I. could load Instagram. One viral tweet said, "King Harris at that wedding like he's auditioning for Baddies Atlanta." Another read, "Tiny's wedding turned into King's album release party." Savage, messy, and absolutely viral. But behind the chaos, something deeper was happening. Fans weren't just laughing, they were picking sides. Team King trended first. Supporters said he was simply defending his mom's dignity, angry at seeing someone new step into what he viewed as his father's place. "Y'all calling him dramatic," one user wrote, "but that's pain disguised as pride." Then came Dr. Team Tiny and fans calling King spoiled, entitled, and disrespectful. "He's 19, not 9, one fan posted. "You don't ruin your mom's wedding because your ego's bruised." It wasn't just a family feud anymore. It was a full-blown social media civil war. Meanwhile, T.I., the self-proclaimed family hustler, stayed completely silent. No posts, no statements, no cryptic quotes about standing on business. Nothing. But that silence? It spoke volumes. Fans began digging up old interviews where T.I. talked about raising boys into men. They clipped one from 2022 where he said, "King got a good heart but a hot head." That soundbite resurfaced everywhere, stitched into thousands of TikToks as the perfect ironic punchline. And then came the celebrity reactions, because Hollywood loves a messy family moment. Boozy Badass jumped on Instagram Live faster than anyone, shaking his head like an uncle at a cookout. "Man, I told y'all that boy too turnt. You can't crash your mama's wedding, dog. That's sacred." Fans laughed, but others pointed out Boozy's known for chaos too. "Boozy calling something sacred? That's new," one comment joked. Then Carlissa Saffold, yes, Blueface's mom, inserted herself into the drama because apparently she has a PhD in other people's business. She posted on her story, "Tiny should have raised her boy with discipline. That's what happens when fame raises kids, not family." The internet collectively rolled its eyes. Someone replied, "Not Carlissa giving parenting advice. The irony is louder than King's yelling." But the most unexpected reaction came from Shekinah Joe, Tiny's longtime best friend and occasional frenemy. She posted a cryptic message on X that read, "I told her to keep it small and quiet, but she never listens." Fans flooded her comments demanding she spill tea. Some say Shekinah was at the wedding and saw everything. Others believe she's just capitalizing on the clout. Either way, her one-liner added gasoline to an already blazing fire. By day 2, the story had evolved from King crashes wedding to a full-on family scandal. Talk shows picked it up. Radio hosts were debating who was right, who was wrong, and whether T.I. had failed as a father. Then a new piece of evidence surfaced, a leaked photo. Someone posted a high-resolution shot from the wedding, showing Tiny with tears in her eyes while security held King back. Behind her stood the groom, looking humiliated, holding his suit jacket like a white flag. The caption read, "Atlanta's royal family falls apart in real time." That image went everywhere. Memes, headlines, think pieces, you name it. It wasn't just viral, it was iconic. And just when the dust started to settle, King decided to go live again. He went on Instagram, clearly emotional but trying to play it cool. Pacing, smirking, half laughing, half ranting. He said, "I ain't no villain. I said what needed to be said. Y'all can keep thinking I'm crazy, but I'm not watching my mama make the same mistakes twice. I don't care who mad about it. It was raw, defiant, and maybe a little heartbreaking." Within minutes, Judge King Harris Live trended. Half the internet called him the voice of loyalty. The other half said, he's spiraling in real time. Meanwhile, Tiny finally broke her silence, subtly. She posted a black screen on her Instagram story with one word, peace. No context. No caption, just that. Fans read it like a funeral announcement. Peace after that chaos? Someone commented, "Sis, you're gonna need a whole army for that." But behind that single word, insiders claim she was furious. Not just at King, but at the person who leaked the clips. Some say she's threatening legal action against whoever recorded inside the venue. Others say she's already canceled her upcoming Tiny and Friends project to deal with the fallout privately. And T.I.? Still no public words. But there was movement. He unfollowed multiple gossip accounts and liked a post that read, "A real man protects his peace in silence." Fans took that as a subtle message. He's washing his hands of the drama. But let's be real. You can't wash off a stain this public. By day 3, the scandal had gone global. UK blogs, gossip podcasts, even celebrity tabloids in Australia were covering it. One outlet called it the wildest celebrity wedding of 2025. Another dubbed it Atlanta's royal implosion. And then came the biggest twist yet. Rumors that the wedding footage might be part of a secret documentary project. Yep. Word started spreading that Tiny had been working with a streaming platform to film her life after T.I. journey, following her emotional rebirth, motherhood, and new love story. The private wedding, according to some crew members, was supposed to be the grand finale. But instead of ending with a kiss, it ended with chaos. Now people were asking, was King's outburst real? Or was it all captured on camera for dramatic effect? It sounded insane, until you remember this is the entertainment industry. Nothing's ever just a coincidence. Some bloggers even claimed production crews were spotted outside the venue before the event, hinting that the explosion might have been encouraged. If that's true, it changes everything. Because that means Tiny's heartbreak might have been the most expensive reality TV twist of the year. And King Harris? The unintentional star. But even if it wasn't planned, the damage was done. The Harris name, once hip-hop royalty, was now trending under celebrity disasters. And the worst part? We still hadn't heard from the one man who could end all the speculation, the groom himself. Where was he hiding? Why hadn't he spoken up? And what was the truth behind his relationship with Tiny that made King snap in the first place? Because as the internet soon learned, this wasn't just about one ruined wedding. This was about secrets that had been buried long before the vows ever started. By the end of the week, the Harris family wasn't just trending. They had become the main event in America's favorite sport, public humiliation. Every gossip outlet was cashing in, every reaction YouTuber was eating good, and every fan base had picked a side like it was a Super Bowl of family drama. But beneath the headlines, the real story was quietly unfolding behind the scenes, and it was even messier than what hit the blogs. According to insiders close to Tiny, she'd gone completely off the grid. No calls, no interviews, no public appearances, just silence. One source said, she's embarrassed not just because of King, but because the entire wedding was supposed to symbolize her freedom. Now it's a meme. The groom, the poor guy at the center of this firestorm, reportedly fled Atlanta for a few days, ducking paparazzi like he was in witness protection. He's been described as humiliated but understanding, whatever that means. Fans, of course, don't buy it. One comment summed it up best. Bro just wanted to marry his woman, not headline the next season of Zeus Network. Meanwhile, King Harris was still in full defiance mode. He posted another cryptic message on Threads. Family means truth. If you can't handle truth, don't call yourself family. No names, but everyone knew who he was aiming at. That post hit over 1 million views in a few hours. The comments section looked like a digital battlefield, half cheering him on, half begging him to go to therapy. But the real nuclear blast came when T.I. finally broke his silence. He didn't post a long statement. He didn't call out names. He simply uploaded an old black and white photo of himself, Tiny, and a young King, smiling, happy, before fame and friction took over. The caption read, "Some things the world will never understand, and they don't need to." That single post flipped the internet upside down. Some fans called it classy. Others called it cowardly. And the rest? They saw right through it. Translation, he's not defending Tiny publicly, one fan commented. T.I. always about image, not emotion. But what came next? No one saw coming. Rumor has it, a streaming network, yes, a major one, reached out to Tiny's camp about turning the wedding chaos into a docuseries. They wanted the full story, the love, the betrayal, the explosion. Think the Kardashians, but Atlanta edition, starring a family that can't go 5 days without trending. Some insiders say Tiny's considering it. Others say T.I. is furious about the idea. And King? He allegedly told friends if they air that footage, I'm done with the family. So now not only do we have a broken wedding, I think we've got a family divided over who owns the story. And that's where it gets deeper. Because this isn't just about a single fight or viral video. It's a generational wound bleeding in real time. King's meltdown didn't come out of nowhere. This is a kid raised in a house where cameras were always rolling, where private was just another setting on the production schedule. He's seen his parents fight publicly, make up publicly, and monetize every ounce of drama in between. To him, the wedding wasn't a moment of love. It was another scene in a story he didn't agree to. And Tiny? She's caught in the middle. People forget she's been in the spotlight since Escape days. She's seen fame at its best and its most toxic. Maybe she thought a private wedding would be her redemption arc. Instead, it turned into her worst PR nightmare. Now she's being called everything, from strong woman reclaiming her peace to attention-seeking reality star. And the worst part? She hasn't even defended herself yet. Because in the internet era, silence isn't grace, it's guilt. Then there's the cultural side of this mess. Social media turned it into a morality play. Everyone suddenly became a family therapist. Black families need healing, not headlines, one viral tweet said. Another wrote, King's not crazy, he's the product of fame with no filter. Not crazy, he's the product of fame with no filter. The irony? The same people preaching healing are the ones replaying the leaked footage on loop. Because the internet doesn't heal, it feeds. Still, there's a poetic tragedy here. For years, the Harris family sold themselves as the blueprint for love, hustle, and family unity. They gave us the TV shows, the podcasts, the appearances. They built their empire on relatability. And now, relatability is eating them alive. Even industry insiders are whispering that the family brand might be done. "You can't sell peace after chaos like that," one publicist said. They can't put this toothpaste back in the tube. But if you think the Harris dynasty is finished, you clearly don't know them. Because this family doesn't die, they rebrand. Rumors are already swirling that T.I. and Tiny might use this moment to reunite publicly, at least for the cameras. One insider joked, "They'll make up just long enough to trend for the right reasons again." And honestly, that might work. Because as much as the internet loves a downfall, it loves a comeback even more. Still, the question lingers, was King wrong for what he did? Or was he the only one willing to expose the truth about how fractured things really are behind the family facade? Maybe both can be true, because at the end of the day, this wasn't just a wedding crash. It was a collision between fame, family, and frustration. A son watching his parents rewrite history while he's still stuck living the old version. And if there's one lesson in this chaos, it's this. You can't build peace on top of a buried storm. It always finds a way to blow the roof off, even if it's in front of a wedding crowd with iPhones. So yeah, Tiny's private wedding exploded. But what really went up in flames that night wasn't a love story. It was an illusion. The illusion that fame can ever coexist with family peace. And as the Harris family tries to rebuild what's left of their public image, one thing's for sure, Atlanta's watching. The industry's watching, the world's watching, because after this, the Harris family name isn't just trending. It's tattooed on the timeline of celebrity chaos forever, and somewhere in that chaos, you just know, another secret's waiting to drop. And there you have it. The wedding of the year that turned into a full-blown reality TV finale without a single camera crew needed. Tiny wanted peace, King wanted truth, and the internet? It just wanted popcorn. One private ceremony, one public explosion, and now the entire Harris legacy is hanging by a viral thread. But you already know, around here, we don't miss a single scandal. Because if Atlanta taught us anything, it's that no matter how private the event, someone always has their phone out and their Wi-Fi strong. So before this whole saga gets mysteriously deleted, do yourself a favor. Smash that like button like King smashed that wedding speech. Subscribe before T.I. tries to copyright family drama, and drop your thoughts below. Was King out of line for crashing the ceremony, or was he the only one brave enough to say what everyone else was thinking? Because let's be honest, in the Harris household, family values come with a camera crew and a court of public opinion. Here on Expose Express, we don't sip tea. We serve it scorching hot, straight from the pot. Every week, we dive deep into the secrets, lies, and wild celebrity chaos they hope you'll forget by Friday. Spoiler alert, we never forget. Turn those notifications on because the next explosion is already loading. The industry never sleeps, and neither do scandals. This is Expose Express, signing off with one final truth bomb. Love might be blind, but the internet? Oh, it sees everything. Stay nosy, stay entertained, and remember, in Hollywood and Atlanta alike, privacy is just the calm before the next trending storm.